Hello, everyone. This is Laura from Web Luminary, and I'm going to do a video on how to blog. Of course, right when I start to talk. So, anyway, let me share my screen as I take a sip of tea. Okay, so this is mostly for my clients, but I'm putting this on my YouTube channel where you're probably finding this. So anyone who has a WordPress website will be able to use this video too. This is how to blog, and this is 2022 in WordPress. And I say the year because things change a lot. But one of the biggest changes in WordPress in the past 3 years was the introduction of blocks. But before we get there, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to show you how to log into your website in case you've forgotten. So the first thing you do is go to your website, and I'm Web Luminary. And here it is, but I need to log in. And most of the time, unless you had programmed something special, the way to log in is WP-admin. You put that at the end, as you can see. And now I'm at the login screen. So I have it set up just because this is my computer where it remembers my username and password. If you forgot your password, this is always down there, and I always have people give me an extra Gmail account or their forever Gmail account, and that's your username. So your username is your Gmail account. Your password should be something unique and long. But if you forgot it, you can always reset it. So I'm logging in. And I'm using my own website as an example because, why not? So I have a million of 3/4 written blog posts, but that's a whole other issue. But what I normally do is I write them up in Microsoft Word, and you can use any other word editing software. And then I go into WordPress and put them in. And the one thing is, if you're not ready to, well, here's another one half written, to publish it, you can always keep it in draft. As you can see, here's one post in draft. It's not posted yet. And I'll show you how to do that. But here's all my posts. As you can see, they've got categories, tags, my date, and how I have everyone set up is that the most recent is what's going to show up on your website. I'm going to actually go back to my blog page because you didn't see that. And I'm opening it, here we go, just so you can see both. So my last one was, if my website is mobile friendly, what do I do? What if it isn't? So these are my last ones by date, and that's usually how I set up. But anyway, you want to put on a new one. So I'm back to the editor and just switch windows. And I'm going to hit add new. This is a tad slower than normal because I'm running Zoom and I'm running my website, along with a few other applications like Excel, PowerPoint, Photoshop. Anyway, I should have closed those, but that's the deal. So this is what I normally do. I open up a new post and I just go straight into copying and pasting. So this is, I don't know how well that's going to work. I usually stop at an image. This is an image. So all I did was hit Control C and Control V. So Control C, copy, Control V, paste. If you don't know this is slightly different commands, but you can do it the slow way. I'm going to select, edit, copy, and then you go in here, and you can say edit, paste. But I've already done it. Science is conclusive. Sliders are slow and stupid. I'm going to put in website. Science is conclusive. But anyway, here is part of my website. And I'm going to go and paste it all in so that you can kind of see what that feels like. And we'll take that one. Oof, it's blurry. I might have to redo that, but so it's better if you, instead of copying and pasting the image from Word, to really use the slider, the image itself. So now that I saw that it copy and pasting works, the other way that you can start going on, I'm going to skip the image for right now. Is you can add a block at a time. So here, this plus sign is all the things that are available in WordPress in terms of what you can have there. So paragraph, heading, list, quote, table, verse, media, image. Then you can do buttons. You can add some space. You can add the logo, site tagline. So what I recommend is if you don't have it in Microsoft Word, you can just start dragging and whatever you want. And then, but what you need to do, since it's not saved somewhere else, is save draft. So right now it's saving. And I'm going to show you how to delete. So this isn't really the next thing I wanted to write for my blog, so I'm going to delete it. So I can hit this thing, this little 3-dot thing, and hit remove block. But now that you've seen all the options, and I obviously recommend you do this yourself and read them a little bit faster. Read them a little bit slower. I was fast. But the next thing I want is a list. So as you can see, the next thing I did was a list here. Sliders are slow. So this is sort of my justification as to why they said. Of course, this will make a lot more sense when you see the picture of what I mean by what a slider is, but that's a whole other topic. And I'm just going to keep on going down the list. See how it's bulleting it for me. Let's say I wanted this to be 1, 2, 3. See, I just switched that. Now it thinks that this is number 1 again. Too successful. Sometimes a copy and paste is. So what I'm doing here is I'm making this a 1. That's the 2. worked better that way. Kind of put the numbers right after the one in front of it. So as you can see, here's my list. And then, of course, add that later. You block. Paste everything in. And here's, instead of me listing out this website, instead I want the text. Try this website to link to this URL. So how do I do that? Instead, to get rid of this, put my cursor on top of these words. This is link. So now this is actually linking to that URL. And I haven't gone over this, but if you want to bold, you want to italics, and then there's a few other strike through, subscript, text color. You don't want black, you make the text blue. Yeah. So all that you see was kind of in here. The other thing you can do is change this from a paragraph to a heading. So here's, this is just regular text. I hit this, it looks like a paragraph. I can make it a heading. I can make it, now it's defaulting to H2. And the reason it's doing that is because you're only supposed to have one header tag, H1 tag on a page. And this is automatically, this title here is Website Science is Conclusive. That's my H1. So this is my H2. I'm not going to leave it like that. I'm just doing this to illustrate. Right now, it's saying why it's left justified. You can make it right, center. You can write. So this is all the different things you can do with it. You change it back. You can make this a quote. You know, say, wait, where are the quotes? You can type that. You have to type those in the quotes. So that's all the things you can do with the text. And as I said before, I, for the most part, copy and paste, but you can feel free to type as you go. And then the other important thing, well, I skipped it, is adding an image. I'm going to add an image that I already have, just so you can see. So I want to put an image here. You can hit this little plus sign. I can also have the plus sign here. So both, and then you see image is one of the choices there. So I'm going to upload. This is not going to make sense because these pictures don't exactly But I just want to show you an example. It's weird that this showed up. Even though I deleted it. So I happened to pick the one image that was decided. Wow. Okay, so this was my image saved. It was a screenshot of a website I'm going to redo. So don't feel bad picking this one. We kind of know the sliders are bad. And so it's what's going on here is that the text is moving horizontally. You see this everywhere, and that's the subject of my blog post, like that these are horrible. So anyway, that's why this is my picture. Obviously, having a screenshot doesn't make a whole lot of sense for you all. Another place you can get pictures from Pixabay. Let me show you. And those are free. I pretty much feel like every blog post should have at least one picture. And that's why I'm taking the time to show you. So let's say you're a yoga instructor. I just type in. I'm just going to type in yoga. I'm going to make sure whatever you pick is free. So this one looks like a nice one. And for sizing, this is the biggest you need. I've never, anything that's over 500 KB, I would not select. And 1920 wide is plenty wide. The widest I usually do is 2400. So this is what I normally pick on Pixabay, 1920 by 1280. I'm going to go ahead and download it. I'm not a robot. It's going right here. Then I'm going to pretend that my blog post is about yoga because just so you can see how, okay, so it actually, I wanted it above the text, but it put it in below. So I'm going to show you how to move it in a second. But first, I'm going to upload the image to the website. I'm going to go to my download folder. And there it is. And it's under 500 KB. Perfect. And then there it is. So the other reason I wanted to bring this is because you can do some cropping, some things in here. Okay. I haven't actually done this much. That's nice. Apply. So they cropped it a little bit. I can also center this inside the text. The other thing I can do is move it around. So this is here. These arrows move the block. This image is a block. This text grouping is a block. I want to move this above this. So I'm just going to go like that. And then the other settings that you can do, let's see, what's this? Oh, you can put the text over the block. That's great. And this actually looks good because the text is on the left and person, the subject of the photo is on the right. Other things you can do is make it black and white, change the color, I think clear there just to get rid of it. And yeah, that's fine. You can also have this image click to another URL. You can bold this text. You can obviously move it around. There's a lot you can do with blocks now. Before blocks, basically you had to copy and paste from a word processing because it had no formatting, so we would just take the formatting of Microsoft Word and you were much more limited. Another thing that's interesting, looks better on desktop than mobile. I like to just stack everything, you know, text, image, text, image, numbers, quote, and then a subheading would be good in here. I probably should think of one. Right here. Need to break up everything. This is a subheading now. Save everything. And then lastly, there's things you should do that are a part. Well, there's one more thing you should do inside the post. I have the opinion that every post should have, speaking the positive, every post should have a call to action. And the call to action could be even just go to this page and look at my prices. It could be, if you like to chat, here's my number. So, yeah. So call to action is trying to get the person who's ready to do something. So what I'm going to do is actually, this isn't applicable to everybody, but I can send a link to my newsletter and have people sign up for my newsletter right here. And then this is over here. So I need to go to these settings and this block position, this button position normal. I want it to be on top. I don't understand it. The right thing anyway, because on mobile it's going to be like that anyway, not two things beside each other. So the button has to be configured over here. So I have to have this block selected, this, and over here what I had to do is hit the gear shift. This was gone. It said it was on Astra. Just make sure it's on the right settings. And then you can change the button text here. It's actually the freebie that you can download to get my and then I'm not going to give my link now. Let's just call it. It's from MailerLite / whatever. So that's where you put in the link. Choice.com. No. And you could change, should I change the color? Text color. Custom color. This is where if you know your brand colors, you can do them. I'm going to put it in my last client's green color. It happens to be handy. Just to show you, you can definitely bring and use your colors. This is one of my website colors. I'm probably going to use another color when I fix this, but now we have a button. Yes, if you got to the bottom of the blog post and they want more website tips, they can download my SEO checklist and then join my newsletter and get more tips. And that's kind of the thing I want. So I would recommend a button or a link on the bottom of every blog post. And again, colors, changing fonts, that's another thing. It should default to your default font size. For all of you that are my clients, I pick a font size between 16 and 18 for body text. So none of you will need to fool with this. But some of you are just listening. You might want to change your font size, so that's how you do that. So that's in the block. Then Astra allows you to disable the title. I don't think there's any reason to do any of this, except you do need, this is in the settings for the post, it's create a category. So this is building a website. It's not really a blog series. But yeah, I can have that. It's sort of a do's and don'ts. Content creation. So I already have a bunch of categories here. But if you don't have to see a category you want, spell it helpful. So anyway, do's and don'ts for small business websites. It doesn't exist. And then categories. Sorry, I'm like leaning in and I said, lastly, after you've picked categories and make sure you've added them, I guess I need to do that here. It's really a don't for, yeah, there we go. I in the wrong place. So that's how you add a category. And then lastly, tags. Tags are very helpful. I definitely like to put in the town that I'm in because I mostly work with people in the general area. And then you want to put in the basic categories of what you do. So I'm a website developer, WordPress, block editor. So these are other opportunities to write. So if someone types in WordPress block editor and they're looking for something, and this blog post is about that, they'll find out about it. So you can use up to 20, and I recommend that you use all 20 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and publish. Oh, wait, I need a featured image. I'm going to use this one. Right. And then I can't use this because if I do, it's going to send a push notification. But as you can see, why does it matter if our website is mobile friendly? If you want to see a preview of that, there it is by itself. And then I had it designed so my blogs are 3 across. And once you hit publish and refresh, mine will show up here. I definitely recommend before you can always go back. And let's say I hit publish. Let's see how good this one is. Using Google Analytics. That's all I wrote. That's not a good one. So yeah, I don't want to show posting just because it'll push to everybody, but you can also hit published or pending review, and that's really the choices. And the way I got to that is there's quick edit. You don't have to go into there, double check that you have the categories. Make sure you can always add tags. The one thing you should not do is change the title because that'll change the URL. So once you've published, you maybe have a day to kind of change the URL, but after that, I would not. Because then it's been indexed by Google, and then it's going to give people an error if they find the link in Google. It'll send them to the wrong place. It'll be the old link. So don't change your title. Just don't. So, that's all I'm going to say. Thank you. Again, this is Laura Simpson, Web Luminary, using Gutenberg, otherwise known as the block editor in WordPress, to do blog posts. Thanks.